Let's get to Corinne Murdock, who is with us. Corinne with GeorgiaStarNews.com, one of our crack reporters there. She's done an amazing job uncovering this chain of custody. They've been the Star has been working on. Corinne has also been working on the Georgia lawsuit, which is why I brought her on today. Corinne, great to have you back. Thank you for being up early for us.
Hey, good morning, John.
The story you had in today, I was going over this in the Georgia Star News, and I want to get right to it. It's titled, by the way, go to GeorgiaStarNews.com. Got to put in news, not Georgia Star, GeorgiaStarNews.com. It says, Trump campaign's Georgia lawsuit goes public, alleges nearly 450,000 fraudulent votes cast. I started reading this at the 6:30 hour. I mean, what is the deal? It goes on and on and on. The Trump campaign filed it, and so where does it go?
So the Trump campaign filed it. Actually, the Georgia Republican Party chairman jointly filed it with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's named on there specifically, and if I'm not mistaken, someone mentioned that he was, this is the first lawsuit where he's mentioned by name, not just Trump campaign or one of the Trump lawyers filing on behalf of an elector. And reading it, the lawsuit itself is like 64 pages, and Jenny Beth Martin, a co-founder of the Tea Party movement, was going through and reading all of it, and she was mentioning that it totaled, I think, like over 1,500, something like that, pages, so that on top of that lawsuit, you have all of these affidavits and pieces of evidence and testimonies. And that's where they got their numbers. There are thousands of numbers. And they said it could be up to, or in some cases over, these number of individuals who purportedly might have cast fraudulent or votes that just don't count because of what they say that the Secretary of State's office or these county elected officials failed to follow election law. So it's on both ends. It's not just these voters. It could have been an accurate vote, but the elected officials didn't correctly follow election law.
This has got to be heard. I mean, it just can't get thrown out like these others are and dismissed because they say they don't have standing or whatever other excuses they have. This came through affidavits, right? Plaintiffs' sworn affidavits.
Yes, and that's what the bulk of the texts were from these affidavits and pieces of evidence. I think the lawsuit, was one of the smaller pieces of documents put together on this lawsuit. It was quite a lot that was put forth, and I'm looking through and reading through a lot of the coverage, and you'll see they're saying some of these other lawsuits are thrown out, but on this one they're kind of quiet. They're waiting on the courts for the first time. I think they're waiting on the courts to see what they'll say. Some of these other media outlets. Because I'm looking through it and I'm trying to see, how they try to debunk this, and they're just, they just call it baseless, but they haven't. Yeah, they haven't. I mean, they call it wild, like conspiracy, baseless, but they don't address the claims. They don't look at the numbers. Like, I mean, that's a lot of votes. That is a lot of votes to allege were fraudulently cast, and what's more, the numbers that Biden is now leading by in this recount dropped, I think, even by closer to 1,000 votes again. I mean, that's in this small of a lead. That's quite significant, I would think. I mean, looking through these continual jumps down and down and down, it's like, what are we missing here? Why do they keep? Is this within the margin still, or are they going to keep claiming that this is still within the margin of error?
What the fake news keeps doing is all they say the same thing, right? Very easy. They say there's no evidence and it's baseless. No evidence, baseless. No evidence, baseless. No evidence, baseless. Okay, here's evidence. Evidence of 450,000 fraudulent votes based on hundreds and hundreds of sworn affidavits. Hundreds and hundreds of them, but yet it's baseless.
Right.
Just keep saying it over and over and over. And now big tech is saying, YouTube is saying, well, if you put anything up about it, we're going to take it down. It's illegal, and we'll shut your account down. If you do a video and you read the lawsuit, are they going to shut that down? This is just news. What you reported, and by the way, everybody, go to GeorgiaStarNews.com. It's our lead story there. You got to put in news. Don't go to Georgia Star and email me and say you can't find it. I got 100 of those. GeorgiaStarNews.com. and it's right there. And it's unbelievable what has been filed. It's 450,000 votes that are in question. I mean, Trump won Georgia, Corinne, in a landslide. A landslide. And that's why everybody is so upset, because they know he won in a landslide, because they can't talk to enough people that voted for Biden, so they can't figure it out. That's what's happening. And that's why when McLaughlin did the poll in Georgia that said how many people think that the election was stolen, the number was 58%. Well, if you voted for Biden and you think it's fair, why would you say it was stolen? It's because 58% of the people voted for Trump. That's why they said it was stolen. I mean, come on. Unbelievable. What else did you find? By the way, Corinne Murdock with us, one of our lead writers at GeorgiaStarNews.com, GeorgiaStarNews.com. You can read her there. What else did you find?
Well, and to your point quickly about YouTube threatening to take down videos talking about election meddling. I mean, they haven't taken down the 2016 Russia meddling. They even promote it, I'm pretty sure. PBS NewsHour and
right.
ABC News, they're all there. I mean, all of that questioning the election. It's mind-boggling to me. But I actually found, in addition, that the Georgia's Coffee County didn't want to certify their electronic recount results, and later, after we submitted, stories for Deadline, actually the Secretary of State said that they're opening investigation into the county, and just like our other, Ware County story, looking into possible vote switching with Garland Favorito, and some of the lawsuits that we've been discussing, the Secretary of State jumped right on it and kind of pushed the doubt onto these counties, and put their hands up as if to say, we tried everything we can and now we're going to investigate it. And I even spoke with the elections official herself, and she said, okay, email me quickly, like talk to me for a while, and I'll answer your questions, and if what they're saying on the Secretary of State's office is correct, she could have at least responded immediately and earlier in the day with an email saying, they're looking into this, and we can't comment at this time. But it was radio silence, and then this announcement from the Secretary of State comes out, and now all the reporters jump on it and say, the Secretary of State said that this was debunked, and this was probably just on their end. There wasn't anything significant there to find. So that's what I found yesterday, and then this follow-up, which is why our reporting didn't include that. It was because the Secretary of State's office announcement came after, and trust me, I've been combing through, and so now the fact that the elections official didn't respond immediately just makes sense, reading what the Secretary of State had to say on the matter in Coffee County.
So, Corinne, tell us a little more about Coffee County. Why didn't they certify this?
They said that they weren't able to repeat duplicate credible results, and they're a smaller county, but they mentioned that they had a spreadsheet justifying their decision, and that was one thing we weren't able to obtain, and we spoke with the election official. I think the Secretary of State has it, but for some reason the Secretary of State said that they weren't able to see what the Coffee County was talking about, almost as if they didn't review the spreadsheet. They didn't mention it. And they claimed that the county claimed that the anomalies presented during the recounts were not able to be reconciled. It was a brief letter, but it conveyed great discomfort with their findings. And during this electronic recount, they asked if they could just certify their election night votes, and the Secretary of State said that wasn't a possibility. And that's what we found. That they just didn't feel comfortable, and then all of a sudden, now over the weekend, they have this county they keep asking this county, you need to submit it, and so then they submit something on Monday, but still they're being investigated. So there's something that we're not being told. I mean, I'm sure they'll come out in a couple days and explain it away, but I mean, why not? It doesn't seem clear to me looking at what they're saying, and the timing of it all is just very odd, because they submitted this letter last Friday, and they could have been right on top of it and explained why they weren't submitting, but they didn't. They waited. The Secretary of State's office did.
In Coffee County, they wouldn't certify the election. Was it over the machines? Was it a discrepancy in the machines, or have you gotten to the bottom of the real reason why, Corinne Murdock?
Yes, it was through the machines. They didn't feel comfortable with their machine results. They said they were unable to duplicate the results of the election. They got closer numbers, I think, during the hand count is what the Secretary of State's office said, but during this rescanning, I guess the elections official was going over and over it, and she was saying that she couldn't get the results in line with create duplicate credible results. Like, it wasn't able to be duplicated. They're mentioning it was like something around 50 some votes, but that's a very small county. So 50 votes is decently sizable for a county of that size, where it's, only I think tens of thousands of votes or something total in that county.
Corinne Murdock with us. Corinne is one of our correspondents, a full-time reporter with a Star Group, and she's with GeorgiaStarNews.com. You can read her there. We've got several that we've hired. She's done a fabulous job so far. Corinne, I really appreciate your work. Is the allegation or the uncomfortableness that Coffee County election officials have had with certifying the election, is it similar to Ware County, where they don't trust, they couldn't get the same machine count that they got in feeding in the ballots when they hand counted the ballots? Is that at the core of this, Corinne?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about Ware County is that the Secretary of State's office actually doesn't address specifically the reason behind the 37 votes. They just say that it had to be human error. It had to have been a difference between people's counting abilities and the correct versions from these voting machines. And the Secretary of State's office is, saying that nobody took and scanned the machines, but I don't know of any people that said that they took the machines. I don't think our reporting reflected that at all. Our reporting reflected that that they just found that 37 votes had been mistakenly applied to Joe Biden over President Donald Trump. So actually there's no clear answer, as they didn't really respond to as to why that happened. When I spoke with Garland, he said, I'm just looking at these statistical anomalies here. I'm looking at what the actual email from the elections official reported on these votes. There was never an explanation why. It's very, if there's any kind of discrepancy, it's just chalked up to human error.
Wow. It's all they keep saying is human error or glitch or something, right?
Right. Right.
Something. I understand there's a hearing today in Cobb County. I got a text from one of our listeners. I've got a lot of them, so I can't really find it right now. But I think Favorito is having a hearing in Cobb County today at 9 a.m. If somebody could retext me that, I got about 100 of them, so I can't dig through it. But I think Favorito is going there. Garland Favorito was set to testify, as you know, at the Senate hearing last Thursday, and they kept pushing him down the list because it was so volatile. They didn't really, I think, want to open that can of worms up. And now he's testifying, I guess, in Cobb County. They're doing a separate one for those machines there now, so you can check that out. I think it's at 9 a.m. today. If somebody can retext me that now, I'll read it. But Corinne, I want to thank you for your hard work. Go to GeorgiaStarNews.com, GeorgiaStarNews.com. Great newspaper. Corinne doing fabulous work there. Thank you, Corinne, for uncovering it all. And we are battling the fake news every single day. We bring your voice where there was silence. We bring light where there was darkness. And we battle the fake news and basically the scammers. That's who we're battling. John Fredericks Radio Network.